is gonna fit so much better than it does now. It's gonna be looser around the arms, looser here, less protrusion here, you know, and a better visual. Hey beautiful human, thanks for clicking on this video. Welcome back to the struggle. Those of you that are new here, my name is Rose. You're watching my fitness struggle. This whole channel is about my fitness struggle, and today in particular I'm sitting down to talk about my 75 hard results. I've been grinding, or should I say I was grinding for 75 days, and I finished the challenge. All the videos are on my channel. It's in a little playlist. If you want to see the struggle through, then go ahead and check that out. But now that's out of the way, in today's video, I'm going to be answering some questions, giving some tips, and then in part 3 of this video, I am going to be sharing my results. I think I'm going to keep it all in one video. You can check the timestamps in the description box if you want to skip ahead to different chapters, but part 1 is going to be the Q&A with the tips, and then part 2, 3-ish is going to be my results and final thoughts. So let's get into it, shall we? I took notes, so I'm not rambling. I am very loquacious and I tend to go off on a tangent, so I'm going to try to keep that from happening. All right, so if you're new here, then chances are you have no clue what the 75 hard challenge is, and you're like, what is it? And even if you follow the challenge all the way through, you may not have seen my very first video, and so you don't really know what it is. So in a nutshell, the 75 hard challenge is a mental toughness challenge. It is not, I repeat, it is not a weight loss challenge, okay? However, the byproduct of consistency for 75 days tend to be weight loss. So it's like one of those good side effects. You basically follow 6 rules for 75 days. And if any of those rules are broken, or if any of those tasks are unmet by the end of the day or by the time you go to sleep, then well, you start all over. So you have to follow a diet, whatever diet you want. You have to do 2 workouts. At least one of them has to be outside, completely outside, not in the garage. Then take a progress picture every day, drink a gallon of water every day, read 10 pages of a non-fiction book, whether it's self-help, personal development, business. It cannot be an audiobook. And then number 6, no cheats on your diet, and absolutely no alcohol. If by the end of the day you messed up on even just one of those, then yes, you start all over from day 1. The goal is to get 75 days of just straight consistency. And I was able to do that. So kudos to me. And if you're on the 75 hard challenge yourself and you're pushing through, keep pushing. Tiff, keep pushing. Vicky, keep pushing. Keep working, keep at it. Before you know it, the 75 days are going to be done. And if you're thinking about starting, stop thinking about it. Just do it. Give it a try. You have nothing to lose. All right, so here, let's get into the question. Question number 1, how did I prepare for this challenge? If you want to see the real reason why I started this challenge, check out the very first video in the series where I literally answer why I'm starting. But in a nutshell, I was going through a lot. Besides quarantine happening and the world going to and personally in my life, it was just a shitstorm, for lack of better terms. And I feel like I was going towards maybe some kind of depression. Yeah, that's as far as I'll get. And so a friend of mine hit me up and said, hey, you want to do the 75 hard challenge? And I said, what the heck is that? Looked into it. It looked really interesting. Of course, it looked really tough. And I didn't start right away. I think it was like maybe a month later when I decided, like, you know what, maybe it is a good challenge. Let me get into it. Long story short, I later found out that the only reason she offered me the challenge is because she knew what I was going through, and she knew I like challenges, and she wanted me to have something to keep my mind off of things. And so that's why she introduced the challenge to me, and I am forever thankful for that. So that's that. What diet did I follow? I am someone I've learned, especially back to that reason why I started. I've learned that when it comes to diets, I'm not great at it. If you tell me go low carb, I will think about pizza every single day, every single moment. I would look at bread all day, every day, cookies, you name it. If it has carbs, I'm going to want it. And so I'm not really good at restricting myself and eliminating whole food groups. And I don't recommend that if you want to go on a plan that's going to result in long-term results. Just don't do it. Of course, there are certain health conditions that might result in you having to do low carb or whatever other thing. Talk to your doctor about it. If your doctor doesn't say you have anything specific to worry about, then don't make life complicated. So I track macros. Macros is essentially just proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. It exists in just about every single piece of food that you consume. And so working with an old plan I had from a trainer maybe 2 years ago, I used some ratios and I developed some macros for this challenge specifically. I was aiming for 181 grams of protein, 154 grams of carbs, and 60 grams of fats. And my goal was for me to say that my macros were met. I had to hit it within 10 grams. So I could go anywhere from 171 to 191 grams of protein, 144 to 164 grams of carbs, and then 50 to 70 grams of fat. Typically, I ranged anywhere from 1,600 to 1,800 calories, and that worked out pretty good. And did they work? Yes, the macros worked. I mean, I got some good results, which you're about to see in a few. So the macros worked. I guess the biggest thing would have been, I should have adjusted them because there were some days where getting 181 grams of proteins was just nearly impossible. So I found myself just choking it down to make it happen. And then there were some days where I wanted more carbs. So it was tricky, but I pushed through and I made it happen simply because that was my mentality. That's what I said I was going to do, and that's exactly what I did, okay? The biggest struggle had to be getting that protein in. If you watch any of the videos, there were plenty of nights where I ended up choking down just a protein shake or a big piece of chicken or just whatever I could to get my protein in. On days when I planned well, I had balanced meals, my day was great, and you know, it was not stressful. But when I didn't plan well, boy oh boy, I was eating freaking potato for dinner or just chicken. If you choose to track macros, just know it's more exciting to have a meal that comprises of all 3 macros than any macro missing. So in terms of trigger foods, for me, and this is why I don't restrict myself, I'll see pizza and want pizza. Whatever I see, I want it. It's like the seafood diet. So what I did, there were certain things, even though when you're tracking macros, ideally you can have whatever you want as long as it fits in your macros. However, you soon learn that you cannot have a slice of pizza from Pizza Hut, because if you have a slice of pizza from Pizza Hut, you're looking at having to choke down some dry protein because you have no fats and no carbs. So I wasn't interested in making that happen. So anything like that, I just opted not to have in general. I know that when it came to ice cream, I couldn't have just 1 teaspoon or 1 scoop of ice cream. So I just eliminated everything that I thought I would have no self-control over. I chose to do it. I didn't have to, but I chose to do it. And besides, they would be breaking rule number 6, which is no cheats. So the way I got around that was substitutes. Pizza, for example, I just made my own pizza, I made my own burger, I made my own fries. I made my own everything. In fact, I think I had 1 meal on the whole challenge, the whole 75 days, that I didn't cook for myself. I went and hung out with a friend and he made some barbecue, but I planned ahead for that. So that's that. Would I recommend macros? Yes, if you're new to fitness in general, I would say just start out by counting your calories, and then you can get into macros. So step 1, count calories. Step 2, get into macros. And then step 3, maybe micros, and then get even more specific. So it's up to you. But I definitely recommend, if you're new to this, start with counting your calories. All right, next for the workouts. My workouts, indoor workouts consisted of me just working out at F45. F45 is functional training. Every day we had a different workout. So I typically worked out 6 to 7 days a week. I only took a break when my body was like, girl, you're tired. I'm about to break your bones. And then nothing you can do about it. So those are the only days I took a break. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday was just straight cardio. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday was all strength. And then Saturday was a hybrid workout. So I did that just about every single day. If I did take a break, it was on Sunday. And I say break because on days when I wasn't lifting and doing HIIT workout, high intensity interval training HIIT, on days when I wasn't at F45, and those were the days when I was just pure exhausted, which typically fell on a Sunday, I would be home, I would do a workout on YouTube. Pop Sugar is my favorite, just a quick dance or a yoga session, kind of things like that, just anything inside the house. My outdoor workout was pretty consistent. It was a walk, a 45-minute walk. The only thing that varied about that was whether I walked in my neighborhood, whether I walked at a park, whether I walked by myself or with a friend, but that was pretty consistent. Anything you can do outside will count as an outdoor workout, and the whole goal is whether it's raining, snowing, or whatever it is, you need to make it happen. Of course, you're not supposed to put yourself in danger, so be smart about it. But where I live and around the time when I was doing it, which was from June to September, it's hurricane season down here in South Florida. So there was a lot of rain. So many nights I had my umbrella like fighting the wind and getting wet, but it happened. I made it happen. And that's really the mentality of it, for you not to quit when things get tough, for you to figure out how to make it happen when things get tough, you know, all that mental thing. And then I want to say about halfway through the challenge, maybe a little more than halfway, in August-ish, I decided to take up running, knowing darn well that my knees can't handle it. But I thought maybe they could. And I actually stuck through the program for a solid 5 weeks until my knees decided, nah sis, I'm done with you and it's not happening anymore. And then so that went kaput. And then the other outdoor workout I did was at the same F45. Some Saturdays were, well, pretty much every Saturday, once we were allowed not to wear masks outside, we did a track workout, which is basically the workout outside. Yeah. Were I tired? Yes, I was tired. My workouts all happen at 5 a.m. in the morning. Monday through Friday, we were working out 5 a.m. and then Saturday, Sunday was like 9:30. Many days I woke up and did not want to work out. The only thing that kept me going was, nope, I am not trying to start over on day one. So I just made it happen. If I slept in or I was just so tired that I couldn't go, then I just went to a later class. That didn't happen much. If anything, I went to extra classes, but I rarely missed my 5 a.m. workouts, which is strange because sleep was not a priority for me. It was secondary. I would go to bed at 12, 1 a.m. and still wake up for a 5 a.m. workout. It's just the way that it worked out. And then as far as my outdoor workout, because I had the secondary goal of getting 10,000 steps per day, after my workout, I would do like a mile or 2 miles around my neighborhood. And then typically in the afternoon or the evening, I would do that second workout. I don't know how I managed it all. It just sort of happened. I think if you can get over the first day, then you can make it happen. It's all about replicating day one. And if you make it through to a whole week, then girl, you're onto something, and it's just a matter of replicating. As soon as you stop or you change something, then it gets difficult, which is why the weekends for me were very difficult, because I was not waking up at 5 a.m. No injuries were sustained other than the knee injury, which came from running. So if you're doing 2 workouts a day, especially if you're doing strength training and HIIT cardio and things like that, just make sure you have proper form. At F45, there's always a trainer there working with us, so it was very easy and also very nice to have someone check in on our form and go from there. Okay, so 2 a day it's not recommended for everyone, but at the same time, it does not have to be 2 super intense workouts. Yoga and a walk, that counts as 2 workouts. So figure out what works for you. All right, let's get to the pictures. In terms of pictures, when did I start noticing a change? I honestly did not look at the pictures until I sat down for my I think it was 35 days I did an update. That's when I was like, ooh, I was so happy to look at those pictures and see the comparison and see the change. Whew, that's when I knew, like, okay, you're doing a good thing, keep going, it's working. I would weigh in every single day and I'd see the numbers drop, but I don't really trust the scale like that. So when I saw the numbers, I was just like, eh. But when I saw the pictures and I compared them side to side, that's when it was like, okay, girl, you're onto something. I have this red shirt from F45 that at the beginning of quarantine, if I can find a picture, I'll put it here, but at the beginning of quarantine, or like kind of halfway during that quarantine phase, just wasn't fitting. You know, before quarantine it fit, after quarantine-ish, it was just like not happening. So when I saw that shirt loosen up around my arms and around my gut, I was like, yes, you're onto something. But I honestly did look at those pictures every day. I'm not that organized. And I think the reason I probably didn't look at them every day was because I did videos of it because I wanted to see all sides of my body, and I did screenshots of those videos. Yeah. The water. Was a gallon a day hard? No, for me personally, a gallon a day was not difficult at all. If anything, it was hard on a Sunday because those I'm used to being my lazy day and just YOLO, whatever happens, happens. But I'm used to drinking a gallon a day. It's nothing. If you want to drink a gallon a day, the best tip I have for you is drink a cup every hour on the hour. If you're up for 16 hours in a day, that's 16 cups right there. There's ways around it. If you really want to know, let me know and I'll reply to your comment directly. To get it all in, I have a 5-cup water bottle that I would always take to my workout with me. Ideally, I would try to do 5 cups in the morning time between 5 and noonish, and then 5 cups in the afternoon, which is noonish to like 5ish, and then 5 cups in the evening, which is 5 to 10 plus that extra cup to make a total of 16. Yeah. Okay. Next up, the pages in the book. I feel like I'm talking too much. The 10 pages. When it came to reading the 10 pages, what did I read? I read Purpose Driven Life, the subtle art of not giving a flying shit, or You're a Bad Egg Double Snakes, Time Management Ninja, and I try to get into this other book which is about forming habits, but it's not a book to read, it's more of a book to follow through and get things happen. So that didn't really happen. I might have read like maybe 20 total pages out of it. But of all those books, for me, all of them were really good and they gave me some really good tips. Purpose Driven Life is definitely number one, simply because when I first read that book, because it was my second time reading, when I first read that book, I felt like it really took me out of this dump that I was in, and that's a really good read. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, and then You're a Bad Egg Double Snakes were also super good reads. In fact, I went out and I bought one of those books. And Time Management Ninja just kind of told me what I already knew, which is I suck at managing my time, and I take the tips to improve my life. Most weeks I'm really good, other weeks, to be honest, I'm not so great. That's just something I have to continue working on. In terms of which one I would recommend, if I had to pick just one book for you to read, something not religious based, because I feel like Purpose Driven Life is really good if you're into church, but if you're not into church, I don't want to force that onto you, that's up to you. But You're a Bad Egg Double Snakes definitely is a book that I think just about everyone should read. So that would be my number one recommendation. To manage the reading was hard, y'all. It was hard because it's like finding time to read 10 pages a day doesn't sound hard in the grand scheme of things, but it's hard. Like, if the best time to get it in would be first thing in the morning, because you don't want to be one of those people that's falling asleep while you read it. Okay, And then number 6 was no cheese or alcohol. That for me was a non-factor because I am not a drinker. And when it came to cheats, luckily during the time I did the challenge, we were still under the stay-home order. Most things weren't open. Things started opening up literally the week I finished the challenge. And so I didn't have to worry about going out and eating bad foods or even socializing. And it worked out for me for sure. It definitely worked out for me. Although there were many Sundays when we would order food in the house and it wouldn't be things that would fit my macros or things that would make it fit my macros. So those were struggles, but I was really good. I could just smell the wings, smell the ravioli, and be okay with it and not even want to take a bite. That's when I also knew, like, okay, girl, you're onto something too, because the rules before starting this challenge would have just dive right in and say, we'll just start tomorrow. So that's what it was. Between these 6 things, if I had to pick the hardest thing about the challenge, I would say the hardest thing was would have been taking the pictures. Oh my gosh, you know how many days I woke up bloated, tired, running late. I just didn't want to take a picture every single day. It gets annoying after like day 10. That was hard. And I guess I'll just rank the hards. And then reading was hard too, because squeezing it in a day, because I blink and the day's over and I haven't read 10 pages. The macros would be next, because it's like I really want a donut, but I also want to be able to have some carbs with my dinner. And then yeah, the easiest thing was the no alcohol or cheats. What have I learned about myself? Let's see. If there's one thing I've learned, is that when it comes to weight loss journeys or making progress, I personally need a challenge. I need an end goal. I need a little competitive edge. If it's just me by myself being consistent, in a drop of a hat, I'll stop. I'll enjoy some wings, pizza, hamburgers, ice cream, and say, okay, I'll start on Monday. And then you know what happens on Monday? I'm great on Monday, and then by Wednesday, I'm cycling all over again, which funny stories coming up in future videos, but that's me. So if I have a challenge in my face or I'm competing against people, I'm more likely to be laser focused and get things happen. So that's me right there all the way through and through. If I have a challenge, best believe I'm gonna show up, because I don't want to let myself down, and I certainly don't want to let other people down, even though I typically do it by myself. But this time around, I was sharing it on YouTube, and the main reason I wanted to share it was because I didn't want to have to come on camera and say, guys, I felt the 75 hard challenge. So that's why I pushed through. Would I do it again? Well, let's just say this. Today is Sunday, October 18, 19, I don't know, it's Sunday. It's Sunday in October. Let's just say if you follow me on Instagram, then you kind of already know what's going on. If you're not following me on Instagram, then I guess you're gonna have to wait and see. But yes, I will totally do this challenge again. One thing I liked about it, like I just mentioned, is the discipline of it all. Like, there's no one holding your hand to hold you accountable other than you. But just the sense of knowing that you told someone you're starting 75 hard, and then in 75 days they're expecting you to say, okay, I completed it. That for me is motivation enough, and I would totally do it again. The only reason I would not want to do it, if any, would be the food. I love to eat. Granted, loving to eat is how I got to this place, but every Sunday I would like to be able to just enjoy whatever I want guilt-free, without thinking about it, without making it fit my macros, without counting calories or things like that. But I think that's the only thing I didn't like about it, and I also didn't like taking the pictures every day. So yeah, that's that. Let's go ahead and finish this out here. So my favorite apps for tracking, the apps that I use were MyFitnessPal. I've been using MyFitnessPal forever. The other app that I like to use when it comes to tracking macros is, I don't remember it so clearly. I didn't like it that much. So MyFitnessPal, when you first start to use MyFitnessPal, it could seem like difficult. It could seem like it's time consuming. But if you're like me and you eat similar things on a weekly basis, it takes like 5 seconds to log your food. You can log your meals and everything like that. If you would like to see a whole video just dedicated to MyFitnessPal and how I use it and like tips and tricks and hacks, let me know. I can create that for you. I'd be more than happy to. And then someone else asked, I think it was Tiff, what do I use, like the app with the multicolors? That app came with my watch. It's a Garmin Phoenix 3. I've had that watch for, I want to say almost 4 years. That watch has been through some things. It's been through my marathon days. I say marathon days as if I've had to run marathons. I only did 1/2 marathon, but it's been through me. It's been through me. Oh my gosh. It's been with me for some time, and it comes with an app that tracks your sleep. You can add water, you can add weight, you can add steps, of course, and workouts and things like that. So whenever you see that colorful stuff tracking, I'll include one here if you've never seen before. That's coming from the Garmin app. You can create something similar. MyFitnessPal allows you to track your exercise and water intake as well. It just doesn't have little things to keep to keep track of your daily goals, and so you can see streaks. There are apps that track your streaks, but I'm cheap like that. I'm not about to pay for an app to track my streaks. My watch does it for me. And then the other question was, what are my plans for running since I got injured? Whenever this happens, because this happens more often than not, believe it or not, whenever I start running again and I get hurt, I just stop for a while, a month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, as long as I feel is necessary, and then I just hop right back into it. So I do want to run again, but I'm just going to take the rest of 2020 off, give my knees that break, and in 2021, I'll look into getting back into it. Okay, some mistakes, tips, and etc. First thing I would say if you're about to embark on this challenge is that selfie and that reading, get that thing done first thing in the morning. Wake up, roll over, brush your teeth, take that selfie. It also helps if you take the selfie with the same clothes every day. The clothes that I took my selfie with, I just put on, take my picture, take off, put it in a like little box next to my camera setup, and called it a day. Yes, it got washed like maybe weekly or something like that. Not even, because I didn't wear it anywhere. I didn't sweat in it. I showered first and then took my selfie. I always took my selfie at the same time or around the same time every day, which for me was after my workouts, because who's waking up at 4 a.m. to take a picture? Not me. At 4 a.m., my eyes are barely open for me to go get my steps in. So get that selfie and reading in first. The second thing would be to be successful, be plan your workouts out, plan your meals. I'm not talking about like you have to meal prep or sit down and write, for lunch I'm gonna have this, for me. No, have an idea of what your day is going to look like. The best thing about tracking macros is I got to a point where I knew, okay, I haven't had any protein today, so I need to plan ahead to max out my protein. Or I really want this apple, but I also want to have some rice for dinner. So I learned to make those substitutions, and that kind of planning kept me from feeling deprived at any moment, and it kept my food tasting good. And then the biggest thing I would say I learned is don't be afraid to change up your diet if it's not working or if you need to adjust it. I thought I could not tweak my macros, but that's also because being Rose, when I say I'm going to do something, I like to stick to it, to the word, and I hate to make changes to it. So I didn't feel like I would change it. So if you're doing macros, for example, and you find that you have 30 grams of protein left and it's midnight, girl, go to sleep, okay? You'll be fine. The goal is for you to follow a nutrition plan that's going to create results, and you being short 30 grams of protein that day won't hurt. And then stretch. That is something I did not do enough. That's something I still don't do enough. Stretch, stretch, stretch. If you're working out twice a day, whether you're going intense or not, your legs are getting a lot of work in. So please do your best and get your stretches in. And then most importantly, you totally got this if you choose to do it, and you're going to make it happen. I wish you the best. Alrighty, so first up, I'm gonna tell you, let me see, this is my right side. On the left side of your screen, I am going to include the beginning, and on the right side, I'm going to include the end. So I started the challenge on June 28, 2020. I know, those of you that's been following, you're like, girl, that was a long time ago. I know. And I'm just not, listen, I'm a procrastinator, okay? Don't judge me. So let's go ahead and start. I'll start with the measurements and then I'll put the weights at the end. So when I first started, where's the left side of my screen? Here. I'm not gonna point. How about that? When I first started, my chest was a 46.5. I finished at a 42.5, which is a difference of 4.3 inches. My waist at the narrow part, which is right under my boob, would be started at 40.2 and that ended at 36. My waist at my belly button was the largest, of course, at 46.2. I ended at 42.5 for a difference of 3.7 inches. My thighs, thick thighs save lives, they say. I don't know. Those were 27 inches. I ended at 25.5, which is a difference of 1.5. My calf muscles, or my calves in general, started at 16.2. Ended at 15.7, which is a difference of 0.5. I'm surprised there was even a change because anytime I do a fitness challenge of any sorts, my calves do not budge. My arms saw a nice change from 16.3 inches to 14, so that's a difference of 2.3. My neck actually got bigger, and I don't know if it's because I didn't measure properly or what, which is strange. My neck went from a 13.5 to 13.6. I was like, 0.5 inches where? I mean, I don't wear anything that's high in neck, so I wouldn't notice anyway, but yeah. All right, and then as far as my weight, I started the challenge at 221.6 pounds. I ended at 200.6 pounds for a total of 21 pounds. 21 pounds. Oh my gosh. All right, and then according to my scale, I have one of those scales that's a body analyzer, but between you and I don't trust it very much. However, it did give me some numbers, so I'll share them with you. I did gain some muscle. I gained about 3% muscle from 34 to 37. For fat, I lost a lot of it, which was 30. I started at 34.8 and I ended at 29.9% for a difference of 4.9% fat loss, which is pretty good according to that scale. So that's that. And then I guess the other results you'd be excited to hear would be my fit test results, except that was an epic fail. The day I intended to do my fit test, I got up, we went to the park, and that was the first mistake. We went to the park, I set up, my jump rope popped that day, and I picked up a new one at Five Below, but it was a weighted jump rope, so that would have skewed the results. And then I don't have any excuse for my plank or my sit-ups and my burpees other than I was trying to do it on a slope hill. It was stupid. And then the running didn't happen because my knees were still busted. So I don't have results for the fit test, but I imagine I'm fitter. According to the measurements that I just gave you, I'm definitely a lot fitter than when I started. So what's next? Somebody asked me, girl, are you going to enjoy some treat meals? Best believe, and considering I'm filming this way after the fact, I am going to show you exactly what I enjoyed for my treat meals in an upcoming video. I have that set up for you. But my main goal after this challenge was definitely to stay consistent, keep up with some of the habits that I developed, because after doing something for 75 days, you would think you get habits that stick, right? So I definitely want to continue reading 4 to 10 pages or just reading in general. I definitely want to keep the gallon a day. I definitely want to work out twice a day. I do not want to track macros. I do not want to take a selfie every day. So those things you can be sure are not going to stay on the list. Let's see, what will I post? So I'll continue to do videos on what I eat in a day. I'll share some weekly progress with you. I'll do some cooking videos. And of course, well, I'm back on Instagram now. I took a random break simply because why not? And I'll post on Instagram, I guess. So if you want to keep up with me daily, follow me there. But I'm really proud of myself. I think it goes without saying that I did something that a lot of people don't do. There are plenty of people I'm sure that start the challenge don't finish it. There are plenty of people I'm sure that has to do the challenge and modify it, which, by the way, if you have to modify the challenge, it's not the 75-part challenge according to the podcast. But find something that works for you. If it's taking this and molding it to work for yourself, and then eventually getting to the place where you can actually do the challenge, do it. But investing the time it takes to improve your body, improve yourself, improve your health is definitely worth it. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who watched any second of any video, any part of any video, anyone who ever left a comment. I truly do appreciate it. And it had a lot to do with my progress. It definitely kept me going, it definitely kept me moving, and kept me interested in finishing the program. So thank you for that. Until then, stay tuned for more videos. Let me know in the comments, what are some things you're looking forward to seeing on my channel? What are some things you want to see? I'm also thinking, like, maybe you saw some things in the 75-part challenge that you're like, you know, I would like to see more of that, or I would like to know more about that. Let me know. Just drop a comment. That egg roll recipe will come soon. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here and you want to see the whole challenge, then I'll leave a link in the description box with the whole playlist. You can check it out. And I guess that's it. If you haven't subscribed already and you want to subscribe, then go ahead and do so. If you just want to do what I do, which is sometimes just keep coming back until I'm convinced I should subscribe, then do that too. But until then, I appreciate you for watching. It's been awesome. You have a great day and a great week and all that other stuff. Bye. And don't forget, make good choices. Deuces.